Hi, my name is Seth Bitker, and in this video we're going to talk about creating a control file using Gertrude. The first step to creating an ancestor kit using Gertrude is to download some DNA kits that you manage from genetic genealogy services such as AncestryDNA, 23andMe, FamilyTreeDNA, or MyHeritage. In other words, you need some DNA kits on your computer to work with. I'm going to assume that you've already downloaded some DNA kits like I have. I have 4 in a directory here. The next step is to create a control file to let Gertrude know what to do with the DNA kits. In this case, the 4 women associated with these kits are great-granddaughters of a woman who was born in the early 1800s. 2 of the individuals are first cousins and the others are second cousins. Let's create a control file for constructing their great-grandmother. Control files are comma-separated files, also known as CSV files, with specific column labels. There are 2 ways to create control files. One way is through Gertrude's control file editor. The other way is through a third-party editor such as Excel. In this demonstration, we will use the first approach. So the first step is to start Gertrude. I'll do this by double-clicking on the Gertrude icon on my computer. Next, we need to choose the Create Ancestor Kit option. That's because control files are underneath this option. At this point, we can choose the editor. That's the control file editor. So I'm going to click on the editor here. To get an understanding of what control files are all about, a good way to do it is to look at a sample. So I'm going to click on Samples, and I'm going to select the great-grandma sample because it's closest to our use case. This may look complicated, but it's really not all that complicated, and some of these columns we can ignore. Let's discuss briefly what each column is. Name. This is what Gertrude will refer to the DNA kit as. It's an optional column, so you don't need to fill it in. File name. This column is mandatory. These are kit file names. Distance. This is the autosomal distance in generations from the target. A parent-child relationship would be 1 generation or 1. A grandparent-grandchild relationship would be 2 generations or 2. A great-grandparent-great-grandchild relationship would be 3 generations or 3, and so on. X distance. This is the same concept as autosomal distance, but for the X chromosome. If you're confused on why X chromosome distance may be different from autosomal distance, you're not alone. This topic is beyond the scope of this video, though. We can leave this column blank if we wish. Groups. This is a key feature of Gertrude. If we put kits in the same group, we're telling Gertrude that the individuals that the kits represent are related in some way that is independent of the target ancestor that we're trying to construct. In our case, we have 2 first cousins, so we'll put them in the same group. And this last column is special. These are optional codes that tell us something special about how to deal with the kit. This also is optional, and we will leave it blank. Okay, now that we've seen what a control file looks like, let's build our own. I'll click Clear to clear this out of the editor to start from scratch. Okay, now we'll start typing in our control file. I have 4 kits, so I'm going to need 4 different rows. I'm going to put in the optional name column because I'd like to have it in Gertrude. And then I'm going to put in the file name. A key point here is that these file names have to match exactly the file names as they are in our directory. These are GZ files or GZIP files. Not sure if you can see that, but they originally came from FamilyTreeDNA, and they are actually GZ files. So I have to have the index csv.gz. Okay, distance. This Laura is 3 generations from her great-grandmother, so I'm going to put in 3. X distance we'll leave blank, and I'm going to put in 1 for the group for Laura. Second person is Marissa, so I'm going to put Marissa in. Marissa's kit, we have to put in hers too. It's also a GZ kit. The distance is 3, and she's in the second group. Now Sarah we'll put in third person, and Sarah we have to put in her kit name as well, obviously. A key point on Sarah is that she is in the same group as Marissa. So distance is still 3, but the group should be 2 because Sarah and Marissa are first cousins. Tara is in her own group. She is not related to the others on here through anybody other than the target, and so that's why we will put her in her own group. So 3, and group 3 as well. Okay, it looks like we've created our, or we've entered our file at least, and now we're ready to save it. So I'm going to click Save. And then I need to choose a directory, so I'll click the directory here. And actually I need to navigate to my directory, so I'll just quickly do that. DNA kits. Okay, and then I'm going to select this folder. So I've essentially said that's where I'm going to put this control file. Now I need to give a name for it. So I'm going to call it GG control for great grandmother control, and I'm going to put CSV on the end. This is a best practice because this is a CSV file. So I'm going to click Save to save it. It says okay, I've saved it. Terrific. And now I can back out of the editor if I wish. So I'll go ahead and click the back button. This concludes our video on creating control files in Gertrude. Using the control file will be the subject of a future video when we use it to construct an ancestor kit. Thanks so much for watching this video. Remember to like it on Facebook, and happy ancestor hunting until next time.